Hey, I'm Jamie from Guitarist magazine.
And I'm Neville from Guitarist magazine.
So today we've got two interesting electrics from a maker in the Netherlands, Eric Schmid, who makes guitars under the name Smitty, which is kind of his nickname. And we've got the Model 3 and the Model 4, I believe.
Yep, I've got the Model 3 here.
Okay, and this is the Model 4. So kind of appearances can be deceptive with guitars sometimes, can't they? And we've got several sort of touchstones from the past of various famous companies here.
Yeah.
So we've got like a non-reverse Firebird thing going on here, and
it's just kind of Jazz Master Jaguar meets P90 humbucker equipped something or other.
Yeah.
But Eric's kind of shaped it in his own way, and while it evokes all those things, it isn't any of them, which is what I really like about it.
And that's absolutely true of both of these guitars, because once you start to sort of delve beneath the surface just a little bit, you start to realise that they are quite a mixture of classic things without really, hanging their hat on any one camp. For example, the neck is a bolt-on. This has an older body. It's a 25.5-inch scale, which you'd associate with Fender normally. Yeah. But it's got a 12-inch radius, which is, again, leaning back towards Gibson, perhaps.
Yeah. This is a Swamp Ash body with a master grade figured maple neck. This is oiled. It looks bare, but it's actually oiled in the middle area. It's very, very lovely under the fingers, actually, to feel, and it looks really nice with that flame maple. Cornered away there to just get a bit higher up the neck. Although it never really bothers me, the Fender one, it never has, but probably is a little bit easier. And the nice thing about this is it's got the Jaguar Jazzmaster style bridge tailpiece, but it's re-engineered and it's a much higher quality unit, and it stays in tune and it works well. It's got decent travel to it, and it wouldn't cause you any problems like some of the original ones do.
And a similar story here, really. So we've got three Lola Custom mini humbuckers on here. Again, not voiced to be too bright. We think Firebird when you look at these, but these are actually voiced to be quite sort of well-rounded. And what you've got with the three pickups is, quite often you'd see on guitars that the central position is the middle pickup, and that's the bridge, and that's the neck. In this case, what you get is slightly more conventional in the sense that you get neck with the selector up there. In the middle you get neck and bridge together. You put it down, you get the bridge just on its own, and where the middle pickup comes in is where you sort of raise the knob there, and what you get there is a whole bunch of selections which involve the middle pickup. So in the upward position you get neck and middle, in the bridge position you get bridge and middle, and in the middle you get the glorious full broadside of all three there. So that's just operated by that push-pull switch there.
Can we hear some of those sounds?
Yeah, of course. So let's should we start with this one? This is
yeah, go on then. Yeah, you're plugged into the.
Oh yeah. So just for your reference, we're plugged into a Blackmagic Reverb combo by Supro, which is a really nice little vintage sounding combo.
And I'm into a Hampstead Artist 60.
Okay, so I'll start with the Model 4 first with the neck pickup selected, and we'll just walk you through those selections I mentioned just now. Okay, so this is the blend of the bridge and neck. That nice sort of like the telly middle setting almost. And here's the bridge on its own. As you can hear, they're not at all abrasive, they're actually quite sweet, even the bridge. If we go back to the, apparently the neck position, but actually neck and middle. You're getting some flavour of those hollow sounds you find on Strats. This is all three together. Almost like a thicker, full humbucker sound. And then there's the bridge and middle together. No weird sounds there, they're all very usable.
Yeah, funny, I can imagine the guys in Leonard Skinner using that sound.
Yeah.
Because they used Firebirds and Strats, and that's kind of a visual mix and a sonic mix of the two.
It's
I like
quite country-like, isn't it?
It is country-like, but it's got that southern rock kind of vibe to it, I think, that they would have enjoyed. This is a wholly different kettle of fish. It's a much beefier beast. That one possibly sounds polite by comparison, but in a very musical way. This is This doesn't take any prisoners, this guitar. There's nothing overly subtle about it at all, sitting here playing it. It's, as you can see, there's a P90 at the neck, humbucker at the bridge. There is a coil split here, which thins this out somewhat, although it doesn't remove any balls from it. It just seems to give it a slightly different voice. It shifts it slightly rather than halving it in sound like you possibly expect. So very simple, you know, a volume and tone for each. Couldn't really be simpler. The three-way toggle as you'd expect. I'll give you some sounds on here, shall I? Here's the P90. Both together. Humbucker. Split that humbucker. Still got a bit of power there, but it's less grainy, and it's just a little more, possibly a bit more articulate.
It's almost, you could use that as a rhythm and lead switch in a way, couldn't you? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's nice and airy with the knob pulled out.
It is,
And
much more.
a little bit more kind of, well, as you'd expect from a full-blooded humbucker when you've got it in the
Yeah.
normal position.
You don't want your hands to be either too sweaty or too dry for that, because that shape pot's not the easiest to pull up. You know,
Yeah.
maybe a knurled telly knob would be easier on that.
Yeah.
But
And whilst it's got the sort of Jazzmaster style vibrato, this has been sort of engineered and updated to be all the things that the old ones weren't in terms of awkward to use.
very much, it's, you know.
Kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing, that guitar, isn't it? Because it comes across as that sort of offset shoegazy indie guitar, but really
Yeah.
it's got some serious claws, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, in a kind of dirty blues band, it would be the big surprise of the evening.
Whereas this is almost the reverse, actually, and I do mean that in a good way. I don't mean it's underpowered. I think it's actually, you look at it and you see Firebird and you think sort of classic rock, but actually there's some sweet country sort of voices in here as well, isn't there? And,
Yeah.
excuse me.
There's a bit of the St Vincent, Music Man St Vincent
Very
about
much
it as
so.
well, in that kind of the way it tapers down in the middle.
Yeah.
That's a pretty guitar. This isn't pretty. It's a bit of a scary guitar.
I mean, these are guitars that, let's talk a little bit about price. They're boutique guitars, what you might call boutique, I suppose. Handmade, low volume production, a lot of care put into them, but they are just shy of £3,000. So we're sort of custom shop-ish prices, aren't they?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, Eric Schmidt says he can make pretty much anything. He reckons 90% of his guitars are custom made. He doesn't make for stock. So he could make you pretty much anything you want. He could make you that with this pickup configuration, or whatever you like, really, or anything of your own. He does also make more traditional Fender shape guitars, if you like. But we like these because there's real character in these guitars. And you can see Eric's character in them, which is really what it's all about for me.
Yeah, and I think that's gaining currency. I think we're starting to see in guitar culture that these kind of mashups of you know, styling cues from various classic guitars are being accepted in their own right, rather than as poor relations in some way.
Definitely. Well, a lot of the really cool looking guitars weren't overly practical in a performing sense. They're kind of evoking those things, but with a more regular usable instrument.
Yeah, and they both play beautifully.
Big necks.
Big
Both
necks,
got
yeah.
Big necks here.
Yeah, this one feels quite out there, if you know what I mean. It's got that sort of almost SG-like quality of feeling like it's over here, but not uncomfortably so.
Yeah, this is slightly more that way as well than I'd say a Strat would be, but not by enough to throw you off or anything like that. As you say, an SG can be a bit of a, oh no, you're not, you're in F sharp.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's slightly in the wrong postcode, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're used to
absolutely,
playing other guitars.
But I love that the relicking here is very mild. It's just like somebody's played it for 10 years, been relatively careful with it, but on a gig, giving it some stick.
And funnily enough, although we both picked these up at random, I think this would be the one I'd gravitate towards because it suits my interests and playing styles.
Yeah.
And you, there's probably a bit more you, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, probably is. I think if you shove this through an amp that's born to rock, I think it might scare you a bit.
Yeah. So there we go. High quality guitar that says indie but shouts rock as soon as you plug it in, and this one here that is all about the classic rock styling, but has actually got a sort of wealth of sweeter, more versatile tones than you might expect. Two very fine guitars and a pleasure to play this afternoon.
And nice to see something from Europe, not elsewhere.